Let me say something that might sound strange. I'm not here to be the perfect Parkinson's patient. I'm not. I'm not here to represent every symptom, every stage, every tremor, every freeze, every medication schedule, every good day, every bad day, and every version of Parkinson's wrapped up in one slightly sarcastic Canadian package. Because that is impossible. And honestly, it sounds exhausting. But when you talk about Parkinson's publicly, people start measuring. They say things like, well, my Parkinson's doesn't look like that. Or my husband's Parkinson's doesn't look like that. Or you seem too good. You joke too much. You don't show enough symptoms. And suddenly you realize, wait a minute, I'm not a medical brochure with hair gel. I'm just a person trying to live with this thing. And, I just want to talk to you about that today because maybe you've been doing the same thing to yourself. Maybe you've wondered if your Parkinson's counts because it doesn't look like somebody else's. Maybe you felt too mild or too advanced or too positive, too scared, too tired, or not inspirational enough. So today, I want to talk about that. Not a big list, no fancy lecture, just a real conversation about the pressure to prove Parkinson's, explain Parkinson's, represent Parkinson's, and somehow do it all while still trying to live with Parkinson's. And there you go. When you share Parkinson's online, people compare, right? They compare your symptoms to theirs, your medication to theirs, your energy to theirs, your progression to their spouses, their parents, their friends, or somebody they saw online. And I get that. Comparison is human. When we are scared, we look for patterns. But comparison can turn into judgment. And judgment can turn into shame. And shame is already doing enough cardio in the Parkinson's community. It does not need a gym membership. So today, I want to talk about that, why I'm not the perfect Parkinson's patient and why you don't have to be either. So when we start to break it down, my Parkinson's is mine. Yours is yours. Your spouse's is theirs. Now, that doesn't make one version more real than another. It just means Parkinson's has too many costumes and apparently no decent wardrobe manager. Some people shake, some people don't. Some people freeze and some people don't. Some people have facial masking, pain, anxiety, constipation, your urgency, fatigue, stiffness, brain fog, sleep issues, medication swings that make the day feel like a slot machine with side effects. Some people progress slowly and some progress faster. Some respond well to medication and some spend years trying to find the right balance. And then someone watches a 10-minute video and thinks they understand the whole case. But a video is not the whole day. A good moment is not a cure. A smile is not proof that someone's fine. And a rough moment is not proof that someone's done. It's one moment. And this matters for me, and it matters for you too. Because how many times have you compared your Parkinson's to somebody else's and quietly judged yourself? Maybe you saw someone doing better than you and you thought, why can't I be like that? Maybe you saw someone doing worse and thought, is that where I'm headed? Maybe you saw someone exercising every day and thought, I'm failing. Maybe you saw someone with a tremor and thought, I don't shake, so maybe people won't believe me. Or maybe you saw someone without a tremor and thought, why is mine so obvious? That's exhausting. Parkinson's is not a contest. There's no gold medal for suffering the correct amount. Your Parkinson's counts, even if it doesn't look like mine, even if it doesn't look like your spouse's, even if it changes hour by hour. Now, I want you to really understand something too. And so sometimes people see humor and they think it means things aren't serious. They see me joke and they think maybe I'm doing better than I am. But humor is not denial. Sometimes humor is survival. Sometimes I laugh because something's funny. Sometimes I laugh because if I don't, Parkinson's gets the whole room, the furniture, the snacks, and the good chair. And I'm not giving it the good chair. I joke because Parkinson's already takes enough. It takes movement. It takes confidence. It takes sleep. It takes little pieces of normal life and hides them behind weird places. So I can laugh at it for 1 minute, and that minute belongs to me. And that does not mean I'm pretending. And this is for you too, because maybe you're the funny one in your family. Maybe you keep things light. Maybe you crack jokes at appointments. Maybe you say you're fine because you don't want to make the room heavy. But you can still be funny and still be scared. You can be positive and still struggle, and you can encourage others and still need encouragement yourself. You can smile in public and you can still be carrying something heavy. Both can be true. So if humor, positivity, faith, sarcasm, stubbornness, or emotional duct tape get you through the day, that does not make your Parkinson's less real. It just makes you human. Now, the other side is true too, though. Being honest doesn't mean that you're hopeless. Sometimes people get uncomfortable when we talk about the hard parts. They want inspirational version. They want the brave music. They want the slow motion walking shot, the story where everyone claps and leaves emotionally hydrated. And listen, I believe in hope. But hope that cannot handle honesty is not hope. That's a decorative pillow. Real hope can sit beside freezing, fatigue, constipation, anxiety, medication, pain, anything. And that weird little circus that comes with living in a body that no longer reads memos. Telling the truth about Parkinson's is not negativity. It's oxygen. And maybe you need permission to tell the truth. Maybe you've been trying to be the strong one. Maybe you don't want to worry your family. Maybe you don't want your care partner to know how scared you really are. Maybe you don't want to admit that something's changed. But you're allowed to say that this is hard. You're allowed to say I'm scared, that I need help, and today's not a good day. I don't feel like the inspirational version of myself today. That doesn't mean that you've given up. That means that you're telling the truth. And the truth is where real support starts. Nobody can help that version of you that's pretending that everything is fine. You do not have to prove your Parkinson's to everybody. You don't have to shake on command. You don't have to freeze in public. You don't have to look tired enough. You don't have to limp dramatically through the produce section so someone believes you're having a rough day. Your disease is not a performance. Your diagnosis is not an audition. And your symptoms are not there to convince a jury of strangers. Now, will people misunderstand you? Yes, of course they will. People misunderstand things that they can't see. People misunderstand things that they've not lived. But you do not have to spend your whole life defending your reality to people who are committed to not understanding it. Some people deserve an explanation. Your doctor, your care partner, your close family. You know, the people that are actually walking this road with you. But every random opinion does not deserve a full medical audit. Some people get education, some people get boundaries, and some people get nothing because peace is also a treatment plan. You can say, this is what my Parkinson's looks like for me. You know, my symptoms change throughout the day. I'm in a good window right now, but that doesn't mean I'll be fine all the time. I don't need you to fully understand it. I need you to believe me. And then you can stop. You don't have to say anymore. And you're allowed to stop because Parkinson's already takes enough without handing the rest of your battery to people who came looking for an argument. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, your time or your energy. And this is where I want to turn it back to you. Have you been trying to be the perfect Parkinson's patient? Have you been trying to stay positive so nobody worries? Have you been hiding symptoms because you don't want people to stare? Have you been minimizing symptoms because you don't want to be a burden? Have you been comparing yourself to someone online and feeling like you're failing? Or maybe you've been thinking, my Parkinson's doesn't look like theirs, so maybe mine doesn't count. Or maybe the opposite. Maybe you're thinking, my Parkinson's looks worse than theirs, so what does that mean for me? Now that's heavy. And I want you to hear this clearly. Your Parkinson's counts. Your story counts. Your system counts. Your symptoms count. Your fear counts. Your fatigue counts. Your good days count. Your bad days count. Your version of this disease deserves compassion too. You don't have to match somebody else's Parkinson's to be believed, and you don't have to be inspirational to be worthy. You don't have to be positive every day to be strong. You don't have to explain yourself to death, and you don't have to do this alone. That is why this community matters. Because when one person says, this is what it looks like for me, someone else gets permission to say me too. And sometimes that little me too is the thing that keeps somebody going. So here's what I want to know in the comments. Have you ever felt pressure to be the perfect Parkinson's patient? Pressure to look stronger than you feel? Or pressure to stay positive? Pressure to prove your symptoms? Pressure to not complain? Pressure to represent Parkinson's in a way that makes other people comfortable? Comfortable? Drop, I felt that in the comments if that landed. And if you want to, please tell me the pressure that you felt the most, because someone else will read it and think, okay, I'm not the only one carrying that. And that's important. And I want to be really clear about something here. I'm great. I feel great. I feel awesome. And it doesn't really bother me as much anymore when someone questions whether I have Parkinson's or not. I just look at it and I'm like, you know what? I am doing my best to look the best I can. But you know what? I'm not the perfect Parkinson's patient. I'm not the official mascot. I'm not the brochure guy. I'm not the full medical encyclopedia wearing a leather jacket. I'm just Bryce. I'm a guy with Parkinson's. A guy who has good windows and rough windows. A guy who jokes, struggles, forgets things, gets stiff, gets tired, gets frustrated, but I keep showing up, and sometimes I show up too much and too often. And maybe that's enough. Maybe we don't need perfect Parkinson's stories. Maybe we just need honest ones. Stories that say, this is what it looks like for me. What does it look like for you? That's important. And that's what we do in the club. And if you're not in the club, what are you waiting for? It's a free community. Come on, join us. We're saving you a seat. And the link's in the description below. But as my wife says, just to be clear, I am so good. I am so happy. I am so excited to be able to have the opportunity to share what Parkinson's is like for me. And for you allowing me into your life. And that's all I need. So when I get emails or letters where people are questioning me or, putting me down, or whatever you want to call it, it actually doesn't bother me as much as it used to. It obviously bothered my wife because she was a little fired up. And then that was actually kind of fun to see, kind of nice to see people, sticking up for you when they think that they need to. But I don't need that. You know what I need? You know what gives me pleasure and gives me hope and gives me that fire to keep going? Is you showing up the way you do for me. Showing up, watching the video, coming into lives and participating, coming into the club and just hanging out and doing life and let's figure this out together. That's what gets me going. And when I see people that maybe a month ago, okay, were so shy, they didn't, or not shy, but just nervous and scared and didn't want to partake and do things, all of a sudden leading things, it warms my heart. My biggest thank you for what I do is to see you going for life and living life and enjoying life, and regardless of your diagnosis. So that gives me pleasure and that gives me hope. So I know I had a bunch of emails saying, please don't stop. Don't let those things discourage you. We need you. I'm never going to stop. Are you kidding me? I am not going to stop until this Parkinson's is either completely finished or every one of these 12 million of us out there don't feel alone anymore. And I'll be here as long as you're here. As long as you show up, I'm going to keep showing up. Why? Because I don't have a choice. It's called me. There you go. I want to thank you for spending some Saturday with me, your Saturday with me. It means more to me than I can imagine. And when I say I love you, I actually mean it. I love you. Thank you so much for joining me. And always remember, keep showing up, keep laughing, keep being real, and keep doing life today. I'll see you this week in the episodes. It is going to be a great week. Love you guys. See you soon.